Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mahuma, CEO of MGRS, and it's such an honor to be here. Excuse the breathlessness, I've been dancing. And I'd just like to take a moment to Charlotte and the team. I'd like to thank you for inviting me to be a speaker and experience firsthand the incredible and transformative work that you have embarked on with this Dream Big Summit. This initiative not only empowers individuals to reach their dreams, but also serves as a catalyst for positive change on a global scale. It is a legacy that will transcend borders and boundaries, and by elevating some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the summit is addressing critical issues and paves the way for a brighter future for generations to come. So thank you, Charlotte, for this initiative. I've been tasked to speak about a topic that I'm very passionate about, that also speaks to MGIRES's core mandate of nurturing value for our stakeholders, that is financial literacy and personal wealth creation. As a firm, we provide sustainable solutions in a form of external audits, which is your assurance work, and advisory services, which is your accounting, your taxation, quality assurance, ESG solutions as well, and internal audit. Furthermore, we have an academy that provides training and can be tailored, such as the entrepreneurship courses that we do, and we're very keen in the development of sustainable businesses, including skills development to address the developmental needs globally. Now, I've been hearing stories today, so I'm also going to tell you a story. Let me tell you a story of a young girl who grew up in a small town called Mafikeng in the Northwest Province, right? So this young girl is me, not so young anymore, but it's me. I did my schooling in Mafikeng up until my matric, and when it was time to choose a course to study, when I was going to varsity, I chose accounting, right? Now, up to this point, I had not studied accounting. Accounting was not one of the subjects that I did at school. I had done the sciences, which is your physics, which is your biology, and your maths, right? So my first accounting class, I was blank, grappling with unfamiliar terminology and grappling with concepts that I've never heard before. You know, concepts like you debit this, you credit this. Concepts like you draft your income statement, your balance sheet, your cash flows. You know, concepts like you need to draft a budget if you're a business, right? You can imagine the confusion I was feeling at that point in time. I had gone through my entire schooling system, and not once did some of those terms cross my path. Might have been my ignorance, but during that time, none of them crossed my path. And to be honest, I often wonder and ponder, you know, had I not studied accounting, would I have had the opportunity to understand what these terms mean? Would I have the opportunity to understand what these financial statements that everybody talks about means, right? It's concerning because finances affect each and every one of us. We navigate personal finances on a daily basis. We navigate professional finances on a daily basis. We cannot dispute then that financial literacy holds the power of the promise of transformation, not just for individuals, but for the entire communities and generations to come. It is essential for the well-being and prosperity of each and every one of us, including our business, to actually be financial literate. We need to get to a place where financial literacy is accessible, where individuals are empowered to make informed decisions about their finances, and where personal wealth creation is within reach for all of us. A world where financial stress is minimized, where dreams are achievable, and where the cycle of poverty is broken. Where our youth is equipped with skills that they need to navigate uncertain futures, where entrepreneurs are empowered to grow their businesses, and enabling families to plan for generations ahead. This idea for me, I believe, is not just a utopian dream. It's not just a dream. It's a tangible reality. I believe it's a tangible reality that we can create through financial literacy. I just want to take a moment as well to debunk the myth that, financial literacy is all about numbers and spreadsheets, because it's more than that. It's more than just understanding the numbers. It's more than just understanding the financial strategies and so forth. It's about equipping ourselves with the tools and the knowledge to make informed decisions about money. It's about unlocking opportunities. It's about building a future of dignity and a future of prosperity. It's about individuals taking control of their financial destinies to be able to dream bigger, right? And to pursue their goals with confidence and to pursue their goals with purpose. It's about the stories of hope and the stories of resilience. Because being an entrepreneur and building wealth requires a lot of resilience. It's about actualizing future leaders' visions. It's about building legacies. So let's delve into the heart of financial literacy. What does it entail? What does it mean? And what are the building blocks of financial well-being? And for me, it entails 5 blocks. It's 5 essential blocks. Budgeting. And one popular guideline for your budgeting is the 50-30-20 rule, where you take 50% of what you make and you allocate it to your needs, 30% you allocate to your wants, and 20% you allocate to your savings and repayment of debt. Do you see how little that 20% is? But a lot of people struggle with it. Number 2, it's financial management. Now here, it's how you manage your money, which includes living below or within your means. Simple principle, live below or within your means. A lot of people struggle with it. Saving for emergencies. I'm sure you can relate, when an emergency hit, there's a few of us would actually think debt, but you need to have a saving for those emergencies. You need to know that life happens and there will be emergencies, right? Investing to achieve personal wealth is number 4. And then number 5, managing debt responsibly. In that unfortunate instance where you find yourself in debt, how do you manage it effectively? How do you make it work for you? And understanding that interest can either be your friend or a foe, right? Depending on your relationship with the banks and the borrowers. Now, if you borrow from the bank, then interest can potentially be your enemy, right? Like if you take your bank statements and you look at the amount of interest that you pay on a monthly, interest can be your enemy. But if you change the narrative and borrow the bank your money, you start saving that money, you start making sure that you don't run into negative balances, then interest actually becomes your friend. So that little knowledge, I believe, is very important. Personal wealth, on the other hand, would involve creating your own wealth-building strategies. We often hear about strategies for a business. As a person, you also need to have your own personal wealth-building strategy. How am I going to build my wealth? And one of the ways is consistently saving a portion of your income. So as you make income, be consistent in your savings. And then investing as early as possible in your money journey. It's never too late to start, but the sooner you start, the better. And diversifying those investments to mitigate the risk of having all your eggs in one basket, right? And then finding ways to building passive income, right? Finding ways to build to receive money while you're sleeping. That's the best way to explain passive income. And then obviously saving for your retirement. Now, there's always barriers to these wonderful concepts, and financial literacy also has its own barriers as well as wealth creation. And just to mention a few, I'd say lack of access to financial education and financial information remains one of the biggest barriers to personal wealth creation. And this, coupled with self-limiting beliefs, I'm glad that Kim actually touched on that. This is huge. Fear, self-doubt, and that scarcity mindset. Fear that you will not be able to understand the numbers that your banks tell you. Fear that you will not be able to understand that spreadsheet that has been created for your business. Fear that you're not capable of actually understanding and you're not capable of actually learning and knowing about what those finances mean, right? And then another one is accumulating high levels of debt. When one starts working, you start by buying a car. That's a debt right there, So high interest debt, that is one of the barriers to financial, to wealth creation. Lack of discipline and patience, where you don't have that discipline and you don't have that patience to know that this is a long-term vision, right? And wealth creation requires discipline and requires patience. Impulsive spending and a desire for immediate gratification can hinder those long-term financial goals that you put for yourself. And when I think of wealth creation, the analogy of how a consumer views an egg differently from an investor always comes to mind. Now, as a consumer, when you see eggs, you see a meal, right? But a person with wealth creation mindset, when they see an egg, they see a chicken farm. So those are two different mindsets, and we need to start building that wealth creation mindset. So it goes without saying that individuals with higher level of financial literacy are more likely to save, they are more likely to invest, and they're more likely to plan for their retirement because they understand the implications of these things, right? So what can we do? What is our call to action, right? I would say number one, or the main one for me, is to ensure that each school-going child should never, at any point in their time, find themselves in the position that I found myself when I started learning about financial literacy. It was already at a point in time where I had gone through the schooling system. So if we can ensure that financial literacy is made accessible and it's not seen as one of those things that are for the elite or for the select few or for the educated, at any point in time in life, each person will at some point touch money. At some point need to make decisions about that money. At some point need to decide, what am I going to buy about this? Need to transact with that money. So it's imperative that this, financial literacy is taught, right? Just like orientation, life orientation, I put them hand to hand. Where life orientation, you learn right from school. You need to learn about yourself, your body, and so financial literacy, I see it as being one of those subjects that should actually be on the same pedestal as life orientation. Each and every child must learn about it, learn how to manage their finances, learn how to create wealth for themselves. So it is not only an economic imperative, it's a social and moral imperative and should be at the top agenda of every government institution, every business, every entrepreneur should ensure that employees and citizens alike actually have that financial literate mindset. We need to close that skills gap. Thank you so much.